Hi everyone, happy Baby Name Monday. My name is SJ, I'm a mum of 3, and every single Monday here on YouTube for a long time now I have been making baby name lists because I absolutely love baby names, and this is actually a follow-on from my first ever Baby Name Monday, which I think was like last September or something, and the first one I ever did was pretty and unusual flower names, and I absolutely love flower names. It was always something I wanted. My daughter is Evelina Blossom, so these are more rare and unique flower names for boys and girls. They're a bit more like Blossom in that they're a little bit more almost botanical names, like looking at the Latin names or the actual names for parts of the flower, because poppy, lily, all these names are so popular. They've been in the top 10 for years and years and years. Violet, we're going for a little bit more now. Ivy as well. So we're getting a bit more rare, but these are if you want to be way ahead of the curve. None of these names rank. Only one of them is on the rankings anywhere, and it's right down at the bottom. And I've left that till the end. So I would love you to hit subscribe if you are new, to follow Baby Name Mondays. I will link the full playlist below because you will definitely find a name that you absolutely love and just have fun listening to like vintage baby names, space inspired baby names, mythological creature baby names. Yeah, you know, gotta scrape the barrel at some point, guys. No, I love that word actually. Yeah, so there's tons and tons on my channel, so do hit subscribe and do leave me an idea for a name list in the comments below and share with a friend, because if you're pregnant, just get obsessed with baby names, don't you? Like totally obsessed. So let's get on with the unique and rare flower names for boys and for girls, and I have my top 7 today. So number 1 is not one that's totally out there. I'm easing you into my crazy mind today, and that is the name Bud. So bud, of course, is like an embryonic shoot that is about to form a flower, and it's absolutely beautiful. It doesn't rank as a name. We're quite used to the name Buddy. So Buddy obviously meaning like friendship a bit more, and after the singer Buddy Holly, and that's been rising in popularity absolutely loads lately. So that's already at number 282 here in the UK for boys, whereas Bud just by itself is unranked, and I really like it because it definitely is straight into a more floral botanical theme, isn't it? Sorry if you can hear loads of drilling, by the way. My neighbour's having a extension. So I can never film YouTube again. I just really like it. It is short and sweet, 1-syllable baby names, which are really, really popular. It's got that kind of nickname cool as well that hipsters really like. And for me, it just seems really cute. It does seem more like a boy name, but because all of these names are unranked, they can kind of be for boys or girls. And I can see a gorgeous little girl called Bud. Wouldn't that just be absolutely adorable and even more kind of floral? The only thing to watch out for is, of course, Budweiser as a beer. Some people nickname that Bud, and some people might get that reference. I think more in America maybe than in England where I am, because we don't use that as much. Maybe not in my circles. But yeah, what do you think of the name Bud? So number 2 is a Latin botanical name of 42 flowering plants, and they are called Lavender. So I think this sounds beautiful because lavender is a well-known colour, a well-known name. It's not being used absolutely loads, the name lavender. It's only number 5,785 here in the UK, but it's a Harry Potter name, of course. It's colour, it's a scent, it's an oil, an essential oil. So we're quite used to lavender, which makes lavandula not that unusual or hard. And I think the ending dula sounds like the ending of a name, so it's a very wearable name, but again just super rare and unusual and a bit special. So I really liked it. It's got that strong V within it, which is a high Scrabble letter. We're loving V's, X's, Z's at the moment to try and get a bit of uniqueness in there. I read this thing that apparently parents are trying to pick more unique names and put unique spellings so that their children have unique social media names. Have you ever thought of that when you're naming your child, like what will be their Instagram handle? I don't know many people who have, but I think that was a bit of a fake news that I read online. I think Lavandula is gorgeous. It sounds quite Italian, doesn't it? It is a Latin botanical name. What do you think? So number 3 is a name which could be a boy or a girl name, because as I said, it is not used. It's quite well known, I think, and I'm not a gardener. So see if you think this is just too weird as a name. Can't decide. I loved it, and now I'm a bit like, is it weird? But it's the name Trillium. So Trillium, of course, sounds so much like a name. It sounds a bit like Tilly, it sounds a bit like William, so it is very easy to say. Trillium is a group of flowering plants that is native to North America and Asia. So trilliums have been used as official flowers of many places in Canada. It's also the official emblem of Ohio, so it's quite well known. There's a few sports clubs named Trillium. There's the Trillium Literary Magazine as well. So there's a few things being called Trillium, but it is not a name as yet, and it's a pretty one, isn't it? I love L names. I always have L names in my baby name videos because I just think they are really, really pretty, and it's unusual, but it's phonetic, so it's easy to spell and easy to say. The reason I liked it as well is it's also sometimes known as birth root, which is really lovely, isn't it, as a link to a child. So I don't know, Trillium, Trilly as a little nickname, it's just a lovely sounding one with a few lovely reasons to like it, especially if you have links to any of those places, or you like the birth root link. I just think it sounds lovely. What do you think of it? I don't know, I've been like 100% and I've been like 20%. I'm just all over the place with this one. Oh, but this one at number 4 is one I love. I would say this is more for girls, and that is the name Rose Bay. Rose Bay, isn't it just perfect? The baby name Rose is one of the most common baby names with flowers in it. Rose is at number 62 for girls. It's very vintage, Titanic, the movie. We all love the name Rose. And Bay is also a really popular name for boys and for girls at the moment. So I think there were 18 baby girls called Bay last year and 19 baby boys. So putting them together isn't that unusual, but it is a name of a group of flowers, which I absolutely love. I think Rose Bay just sounds super vintage, super cool, very, very hipster. You'd have to be quite daring, wouldn't you? I think it would always get a second glance and a second like Rose Bay. So it is known in North America as fireweed. It is known in Canada as willow herb, Rose Bay willow herb. I mean, if you're going to go for it. That's a first and a middle name right there. But I just really, really think it is pretty. It became known as fireweed because it grows in abundance near places that have been scorched by fire, which is really interesting as well, I thought. And in Russia, before they got tea leaves from China, it was what they used to make tea, and it was very, very sought after and expensive. So it was greatly valued, it was exported from Russia, and it was known as Russian tea. Yeah, a really lovely link if you have Russia in your history as well. I think that's a really nice thing to know. I just love the sound of it. I think if you're looking for something unique that kind of has some floral feeling to it, can't go wrong with Rose Bay. This next one is amazing. It's very botanical. It is the name of 20 flowering plants, all in the cabbage family, which I also think is super cool. But that is the name Allbrietta. So Aubrey is obviously a very well-known name which is used for boys and for girls. Allbrietta, maybe it sounds more feminine because of the etta at the end, and etta would be a great nickname for this as well, or Aubrey, but Allbrietta together. Oh God, I think it is stunning. It is so pretty. And I love the fact that this is named after a French painter, Claude Allbrietta, who was a botanical painter. Actually, I'll look up his paintings and see if I can put some in. I don't know if I'll be able to, or look them up yourself if you like this name, because how lovely would it be to have some of his prints around a nursery or something like that. And I love the fact it's after a painter. It gives it that real artsy heritage as well. Allbrietta sounds very arty, very French, doesn't it? And just very beautiful. So Allbrietta grow wild in Europe and also Central Asia, and actually one of the variants of Allbrietta is called Kitty Rose. So again, I'm like, go for it, Allbrietta Kitty Rose, or Allbrietta, and you could nickname her Kitty Rose. That would just be adorable. What do you think of Allbrietta? Okay, the next one is a really unique one, and it is actually a name as well as being a flower part, so again more botanical, and that is the word Calyx. And it could also be Calyx. So that's what's interesting about this. It's kind of got two different sounds. And I think you could genuinely just go for what you prefer. Last week's baby name video was baby names that are hard to pronounce and that people spell the same and pronounce differently. I think you could just go with either. And if you could even, if you wanted to, you could even change the spelling more phonetically if you were really keen on it being Calyx. But Calyx sounds like Alex, doesn't it? Really, really trendy. Bang on trend with the X. As I said earlier, we love those sort of letters at the moment. But Calyx is actually the word for the outer part of a flower. So the whole outer part of a flower is known as a calyx. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've done lots of research and I'm sure there's much better gardeners, botanists watching this. But yes, it's the whole outer part, and it comes from the word also for goblet or cup. So that kind of shape, that's why I'm doing this. Not just doing some sort of fancy dance. Yeah, that is kind of where calyx comes from. I love it. And I think it could be a feminine name. It could even be a male name as well. I thought of it first as male, but then looking into the history of this name, it's actually been used as a name in ancient Greece. So there was a calyx in ancient Greece, lots of different stories about them. Apparently he was maybe the son of Zeus, and there was a calyx. There was also some feminine Greek mythologies around people called Calyx as well. So it could go either way. There's probably the same as Alex, to be honest. That's a feminine and a masculine name, isn't it? A lot of these Greek mythological names are then taken as astrological names or astronomological names. And is one of the moons of Jupiter is also called Calyx or Calyx. So I'm not 100% sure how I would pronounce it. I think I would say Calyx, and I think that would be more how I read it when I first saw it rather than Calyx. So if I was going to go for Calyx, I would maybe change it with a K rather than a C and just try to work on that. But I love it, and I love its meaning being the outer shape of a flower. I think it is really unique and rare, really, really pretty, strong one, very funky and cool, and I love the sort of botanical meaning to it. Okay, so at number 7 is the one that ranks in places, but I absolutely love this name, and that is the name of Florian. So Florian actually means flowering, so it is a male name that means flowering. So a bit like how my daughter's Blossom is a bit like the male equivalent of that. It's one of those names that's quite rare in certain places, like in England, not ranking at all, but then in places like Austria, Poland, Denmark, it's very, very well known, and it's kind of coming back into fashion. It sounds like, let me know, sounds like it was more of a vintage name that is now coming back in style. I think it is super cool. It sounds very, very literary. I was seeing the nickname Flo a lot for this, which sounds more feminine to me. Even the nickname Ian, which is funny because in England we have a very sort of old-fashioned, more like 80s name, Ian, which doesn't seem to be as exciting. If we're going to go with Florian, you don't want to be called Ian, you want to be called Florian. You want Florians in the room. But I just really like it, and I think if I met a Florian, it sounds to me like a sexy name. I know that's weird, but like, that's what it sounds like to me, kind of stylish, sophisticated Florian. But for some people, like, it just sounds so feminine. I just couldn't take a boy Florian that seriously, but I really don't have that issue. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Because Florian was the patron saint of Austria, but Florian was also the patron saint of soap makers, firefighters, and chimney sweeps. Isn't that cool? I always love looking at that. I think it always sounds so fun what the Florian is the patron saint of. So those are my top 7 unique and rare floral / botanical baby names for boys and girls. Let me know any I've missed out in the comments below, and I'd love to hear what you think of them as well. Don't forget to share with a friend you think might like these or find them ridiculous, your choice. And I'd love you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to follow Baby Name Mondays. And the rest of the week I do 2 more videos each week on Wednesdays and Fridays, and those are general parenting videos about life with the kids. This week I'm doing a what I eat in a day and probably another day in the life video. So if you're into lifestyle stuff as well, then do hit the little bell and you'll get notifications when you log on to YouTube that there's a new video from me. Good luck naming your babies. Any requests, I'll take them in the comments below, and you can also message me over on Instagram. Happy Baby Name Monday. I'm sorry about the drilling. Maybe I should stick my head out like I'm filming a vlog. People are trying to work while their babies nap. But I will see you next week, and hopefully they'll be all done. Bye guys.